Hey there, it's Jen. I have a really interesting person running for president that I want to talk to you about, and his name is Mike GRUH-VEL. If you're on Twitter at all, then you've probably seen his tweets around, and they're actually the tweets of his students. So I think this is really, really cool. And I'm going to start out explaining who Mike GRUH-VEL is by going to Consortium News. So this is an article on Consortium News, that used to be run by Robert Perry, now is run by Joe Loria. So the title here, GRUH-VEL declares presidential bid to highlight anti-interventionism and direct democracy. The former U.S. Senator, 89, who read the Pentagon Papers into the congressional record and ran for president in 2008, says he's not entering to win, but to inject crucial issues into Democratic primary debates. So that's similar to what some people think Bernie was doing in 2016 to begin with. Some people think that Bernie was running in order to move the party to the left, to inject those ideas of leftism into the national discourse. But that, whether Bernie was doing that or not, that is actually what former Senator Mike GRUH-VEL is doing. And he is a very, very interesting guy. Former U.S. Senator Mike GRUH-VEL formally declared his bid on Monday for the Democratic Party's 2020 nomination for president, an effort to introduce into the primary debates critical discussion of U.S. interventionism abroad and a system for direct democracy at home. GRUH-VEL, who is 89 years old, says he's not in it to win, but to spur debate on what he sees as the two most vital issues facing the United States: ending militarism and expanding democracy beyond representative government. Serving as a U.S. Senator from Alaska between 1969 and 1981, GRUH-VEL became best known for having read the highly classified Pentagon Papers into the congressional record at a Senate subcommittee meeting that he had chaired on June 29, 1971. Several other senators had turned down copies of it from whistleblower Daniel Ellsberg. If you're not familiar with the Pentagon Papers, I urge you to read about it on Wikipedia. It's fascinating, and it really gives a boost to GRUH-VEL's name that he did that. GRUH-VEL had immunity to reveal classified information in the midst of a legislative act as laid out in Article 1, Section 6 of the U.S. Constitution, the so-called speech or debate clause. It is rarely invoked by the members of Congress to make public, secret evidence of governmental criminality or abuse. The Pentagon Papers, a secret Defense Department study of the Vietnam War, made clear that U.S. administrations had kept the war going while lying to the American people about the chances of victory in Southeast Asia. So we have Mike GRUH-VEL, who has this long and really cool history. We have him trying to run again in 2008. But let's skip to what he's doing now. And what really makes him stand out, in my opinion, is that this run is started by students in order to push the platforms of other presidential candidates left. And Mike GRUH-VEL agreed to do this. So Consortium News continues by saying, the idea for a GRUH-VEL run in 2020 was hatched by two first-year university students, David Ox and Henry Williams. GRUH-VEL gave them control of his Twitter feed after he saw how well they understood his thinking. That's what really sold me on running, GRUH-VEL said. GRUH-VEL's website lays out his platform with this introduction. Senator GRUH-VEL is committed to ending America's imperial policies, especially in Venezuela and Iran, rescheduling cannabis, fundamentally reforming our politics through direct democracy, abolishing mass surveillance on American citizens, prioritizing climate change, dismantling America's carceral state, and building a foreign policy free of undue influence by Israel and Saudi Arabia. He also called for Assange to be given amnesty, the National Security Agency to be abolished, the U.S. to withdraw from the Five Eyes intelligence network, police to be held accountable for brutalizing citizens, a formal investigation into U.S. government involvement in human rights abuses around the world, and an end to foreign wars. There are two things that are destroying us, GRUH-VEL said. One on the long arc of history will be climate change. Will this planet survive? And two is the nuclear threat, which is stronger than ever and could eclipse us overnight. GRUH-VEL's core issue, which he has been working on for 25 years, is to establish the procedures to create a legislature of the people in which citizens can use the initiative system, now present in 26 U.S. states, to make federal laws. Power resides with the people, who give it away in elections to representatives who then use it for their own interests, GRUH-VEL said. The people will become the senior partners and representative government will shape up, said GRUH-VEL. He announced with this video on Monday, and I'm going to play that on YouTube. So this is interesting for a number of reasons, and I'm going to show you the Twitter feed that he has, and it's great. It's snarky, it has great policy. If you like Bernie Sanders policies, these policies are similar and even further left. So these students that he has have control of this Twitter feed, and they respond to people, and they tweet snarky things, they tweet great policy, they tweet smart things. It's really an interesting feed to follow, and I'm fascinated by the idea of him announcing that he's running, not to win, but to push everyone left, to enter that into the national discourse. And his history is just absolutely fascinating, which is why I think this is a candidate to watch. Let's go ahead and look at the announcement video that he released yesterday. I'm gonna have to restart it once I make it bigger here.
Are being killed as a direct result.
So let's maybe bring up the topic of the day, which is the Green New Deal. How will we pay for it? Unknown. It's not realistic.
Because there's no way to pay for it.
It's immoral.
The younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. No. I have no empathy.
I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons.
Medicare for all is one of the possible paths.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. This was a little controversial in San Francisco.
He did ask you yes or no. Would you support free college for all?
I am not for free four-year college for all, no.
Human beings are being killed as a direct result of policy decisions we as a body have made.
This approach of war on drugs has not succeeded. We're supposed to be a democracy. We've got 2.3 million people in prison.
We spend more as a nation on defense than all the rest of the world put together.
This whole nation should be a sanctuary for the world. I'm ashamed as an American.
Oh, hold on while it buffers.
Building a fence on our southern border. That's not the America that I fought for. Our soldiers died in Vietnam in vain. You can now, John, go to Hanoi and get a Baskin-Robbins ice cream cone.
Why do they hate us so in so many places around the world? Because we kill so many people wantonly.
Oh, Joe, I'll include you, too. You have a certain arrogance. You want to tell the Iraqis how to run their country.
And we can get off of gasoline in 5 years, and we can get off of carbon in 10 years. All we got to do is want to do it.
Just plain get out. It's their country. They're asking us to leave, and we insist on staying there.
The military-industrial complex not only controls our government, lock, stock, and barrel, but they control our culture. It's time to make some waves for change. I'm Mike GRUH-VEL, and I'm running for president.
Okay, so that's a pretty impactful video there. I think his campaign strategy run by students is better than most here in the race. 1 second. So there you go. Mike GRUH-VEL running for president, running for the betterment of the country, but not running to win. So that's all I have for you today. We'll follow up on him as news comes out. Bye-bye.